Let's do this. Hi guys, we are back. Controllers and Katanas. I am Martin, aka Marty O'Cool, here with our co-host Ian, aka Relic, and today we have a special guest. We have Alex from Beyond the Memory Card.
Hello, boys.
Yo.
So today's a Halloween special. We've got some questions for our good friend Alex here, who is a master of the horror, as you can see in the background, with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So, Ian, do you want to start us off with the first question?
Yeah, so this is literally a Halloween special, as we say. We used to work with Alex. He's one of our good mates. We've known him for years now. His number one genre, game, film, is horror. That's his life. So, yeah, we're going to go through a bit of a Q&A sort of interview type thing, I guess. So, yeah, it's a big one for us because Alex is our first guest. But me and Martin will chip in as well, and we're just going to have a chat. So... Yeah. The first question I wanted to ask is, what first drew you to the horror genre in general? Was it a movie, a game, or was it something else?
I mean, 100%. It's a game, and I mean that game is none other than Capcom's 1996. It's Resident Evil.
Legendary.
I mean, it has to be because I was always very close to the horror genre anyway. Like growing up, from quite small, because my mum is a big horror fan and always has been. So I kind of grew up with the real old school horrors, and I'm talking things like Hammer House of Horror, slasher flicks, horror classics, all the way from sort of the early 70s through the 80s, even to the late 90s. And I really found myself with horror with Resident Evil. I mean, the game quite literally defined the word survival horror.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, like, you can look back on its terrible graphics and cheesy dialogue now, but that game as a kid, absolutely scary. Like, it terrified me, and it was something special because I mean, that first zombie encounter, when you experience that, it stays with you forever. Everyone knows that iconic opening, that cutscene with the head, half the skull, dropping. And another one would be Silent Hill, but I'm going to touch on that a bit later on. But it's going to be Resident Evil. That defied the genre for me, really.
Yeah, I literally, when I was doing these questions, in my head I was thinking, Alex will know this, Martin as well. I recently went into my parents' attic, found my old PlayStation 1. Me and my son have got it all working, got it hooked up. Resi 1 was one of the games, and for most people that are probably like myself, most of the games you had when you was younger were not genuine games, let's say. But Resi 1 is one of the few games we did have that was genuine. And just looking at the disc itself brought back a lot of memories. And it's definitely the Resi games. But in terms of movies, I remember a lot of the older movies, sort of like Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, all those sort of things. 80s sort of like horror films were big sort of like for me as well. So yeah.
Well, they defined it, didn't they?
Oh, massively.
That is, I mean, touching on what you said, I've still got my Resident Evil 2. And my Dino Crisis on my PS1 still. I've even got the original Silent Hill, and I still play them.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, once you play it, it sticks with you.
Yeah. I obviously when I was younger, when I was very young, my uncle there used to be like a rental shop, like close by, and every Sunday I used to watch the classic horrors. I'm talking Nightmare on Elm Street, Hellraiser. I was only a little boy. I was probably about 6, mate, and I was sitting in front of the TV, like gawping at it.
Like Night of the Living Dead and stuff like that, man.
Yeah, laughing at people getting eaten and stuff. But that's what you do as kids, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I mean that's it.
Yeah, and growing up now, I'm just like, nothing really scares me in terms of horror. But yeah. But we'll go on to the next question now, which is, do you remember the first real scare from a horror, whether it be a movie or a game?
And it's a really good question, and it's a tricky one. And if I'm honest, obviously I did mention Resident Evil, and I did mention it being scary. From what I can remember, my first real scare from when I was small was from a 1979 miniseries called Salem's Lot. Now, I know people watching that are probably older than me are thinking, you're way too young to know that. But like I said, my mum was very big on these things, and I think she stuck it on one Halloween night. It was literally like nighttime, man. and this is on an old CRT television. Do you know what I mean? But I probably remember being about 6 years old, and my mum had put it on sort of near Halloween. And basically, there's this scene where Danny Glick, who's like supposed to be this like 6-year-old boy, he's like dead, right? And his brother's lying in bed, and he comes floating like randomly to this window, and he's like scratching on the window. But honestly, I don't think you'll be able to pull the clip over anything. But if you watch that scene as a 6-year-old boy, it absolutely terrified me. And there is a vampire in that miniseries as well. That's absolutely terrifying. I mean, like, it's practical effects though. Do you know what I mean? So it scared me as a kid. But yeah,
the
it was really
aren't the practical effects.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what scared me when I was a little kid? You know the first bit of Ghostbusters when they go in the library, and that ghost turns around me. Oh, I was like, I used to never watch that scene like when I was younger ever again. Like I was like, no, I don't want to watch that first. I'll watch it after that bit. But
yeah, I was trying to think about this as well a little bit. But the only thing that really sticks with me, and it's random because it's not really necessarily like a jump scare or scary, but there's like a part in the Sixth Sense movie where there's like a girl that's constantly throwing up because like a mum or a stepmom or whoever it was slowly poisoned her to death. And for some reason, I remember seeing that when I was like a kid. And even to this day, mate, I still, every so often, like every month, I just remember that scene. It's like, I don't know, something about it really like just freaked me out, mate. They're bad. It like really stuck with me.
There's another film that freaked me out. It's a horror film called Ghoulies. It's a terrible film. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's like basically little monsters going around terrorizing people.
Yeah.
But there's a scene in that.
Yeah.
There's a scene in that, mate. When I was younger, I was like, freaked me out because there's a bit where it's like a fun fair and there's like a toilet and this guy's having a crap, obviously, and this ghoulie comes up the toilet and like eats him.
Oh.
And then every time I went for a crap after that, I was like, sitting down. I kept like looking up, like scared this ghoulie's going to come up the toilet, mate. That freaked me out.
But I'll tell you what, I literally know what you mean though, Martin, because and I know it's not. I don't know. It's not really a horror, but you know Jaws. I remember watching that as a kid, and for some reason, going in the shower scared me. I thought a shark was going to come out the shower head.
I used to do it. It's such an irrational fear when I used to go on holiday or to swimming. I used to think there'd be a shark in the swimming pool. Like, honest to God, mate. It was like such an irrational fear, but it used to scare me. I used to never go to the deep end because I thought there would be a shark in it. Like, it's mad, isn't it, thinking about it now? But you know when you were a kid?
You can never be too careful, man. You know what I mean? The sorts of things you get in a public swimming pool anyway in the UK, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a shark in
You'd
there.
prefer to be a shark, wouldn't you?
Yeah, literally, man. Trust me.
You think you see a fin in the water, but it's like someone's sandal just like floating towards you. Like, it's Jaws. Go,
or just that part of Kevin and Perry, mate, where he takes the turn in the sea and it chases him.
Yeah, in between us too.
Yeah, down the water slide. That's literally it. Oh, legend. But yeah, obviously in your opinion, it's got to be in your opinion because some people don't like horror. But what makes horror such like a compelling genre for movies and as well as games as well for yourself?
Okay. So yeah, I mean, I gave this question a lot of thought, right? Because it's subjective, I think.
Yeah, very.
For me, I think horror is a compelling genre because it taps into our sort of primal instincts and emotions. You know, you're exploring themes like mortality, the unknown, the sort of the darker aspects of human nature. The tension and suspense, it kind of keeps you on the edge of your seat. You know, it's like you get an adrenaline rush. I think fear in movies often relies on atmosphere. You know, you got to be good at storytelling, visualization, because the audience is the observer, and you've got to be drawn into that story, into that narrative, right?
Yeah.
So I think things like jump scares, unsettling soundtracks, you know, like eerie things, loud, create that sort of sense of dread. Do you know what I mean? Especially in movies. And I think it's very different for games, you know?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I think one of the big things for me with games is it's almost the survivability side of it all. Sort of like the accomplishment you get from surviving like a mission or surviving like a level or just being able to do a game. Because typically horror games are usually a lot harder as well. So they're a lot more rewarding. And I feel like you get a lot more sense of obviously rewarding in those situations as well. So, but like you said with movies as well, like it taps into your like you say primal sort of instincts, and it's the fear of the unknown as well. It's almost exciting in a way, isn't it? So you do get that sort of buzz from it in a way, don't you? If you're sickos like us, anyway.
Well, yeah, and I think tapping back into what you were just saying about games, I think you've also got to remember, like, it's amplified even more by interactivity, because you're not just watching, you're taking control of the character. Do you know what I mean? So you are participants, you're making the choices, and it can lead to life or death situations, and that makes it more exhilarating for me. Because the stakes are higher when you've got that personal interactivity, and you can sort of make the fear feel more immense. You're immersing yourself in these worlds, but it's not like you watch an actor. I mean, obviously, watching a film is different from playing a game, obviously, but when you're actually taking control of these characters and you decide, do I hide? Do I fight? Do I run? I think that changes the compellingness.
Yeah, it's the extra immersion, isn't it, that you get from essentially you are the actor in the game sense, aren't you? So
yeah, I think you get that from Supermassive Games on Until Dawn. In that game, obviously you got all these players you're trying to keep alive. I managed to play that game and finish it, and everyone survived but one person. But the one person that died was a woman that really annoyed me, so I was like, I'm not bothered about you, anyway. But them games, it really got me. Like, I was there, like, I've got to survive this. I've got to make the right choice. Got to do it, do this, do that to survive. And I thought that it really became a really good game for me, because it got me going, mate. It got me adrenaline rushing.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, I think interactivity, playing a game, it sort of allows you to get scared and confront fears that is sort of you can't replicate in a film. Do you know what I mean?
Right,
I think that's why. I mean, to be honest, the gaming horror genre kind of died for a bit, and now it's kind of on its way back a bit, which is nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, you sort of get. It feels it's a bit more personal, a bit more real. And in my opinion, I think games are better in that sense, because, like I said, the stakes are higher, and you take part in it, you do what you do. But also, I love films as well, so it's hard. It's a hard question.
Yeah, go back to that.
It's great answers, mate.
Bringing back the games, obviously they brought back all the Resident Evils, and now they brought Silent Hill back, and the fans are loving it, aren't they? They're loving that all of them have come back, and they're doing so well, these games.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Capcom, Konami. Perfect.
We're about to.
Perfect recipe.
Right, next question. Do you think fear in movies differs from fear in games? How does your interactivity change the experience of fear?
So basically, what I've kind of said, I think,
touches on to that last one a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly that. Like I said, you confront your fears in a way that films can't replicate. You know, when you make decisions that impact the story and face enemies head on, it becomes quite deeply personal. The experience is more real, and I think you can make a bit more of a memorable encounter with fear and scare and dread. So yeah, it's interactivity, I would say, is my answer. Between Obviously, with films, you are sort of like Ian said, you're tapping into the primal instincts. You're rooting for these people. You know what I mean? You're feeling almost what they might be feeling, but you're not taking part in doing what they do. You're just kind of watching it from an observer standpoint, aren't you? Which is, I know, sounds very obvious, but
I had a thought regarding this as well. Almost like the only thing I think that differs for movies, in my opinion, is sort of like paranormal movies, where they almost seem like it could be you, like that could happen. It seems so real almost in some like aspects of paranormal like films. I think sometimes that can really add more sort of like anxiety to it, I guess, in a sense, versus like a game. Because with a game, you have got that sense of it's not real. Whereas I think sometimes with a film, especially some of those paranormal activity movies, like the early ones, for example, or those sort of films, they got crap as they went on, obviously, but the initial, when those sort of paranormal movies first started coming out, I think they were the first movies where you thought, like, I'm going to leave the light on the landing tonight. I'm going to shit my pants because if an entity throws me down the stairs, I'm going to be fuming.
Drag it out of bed. I know what you mean. Yeah, to be fair, it's a good point. I mean, I suppose especially with paranormal stuff, people in the world are very 50-50 on that. A lot of people believe in ghosts, some people don't. And I think, obviously, I don't think I say that. Phasmophobia is a good game. For paranormal stuff. I was gonna say I don't know if paranormal games can be scary. I think they can, but I think paranormal movies probably are better, like Insidious and stuff.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I did think Paranormal Activity 2 was better than the first one because there's a scene where the baby starts floating away. I was like, flipping.
It's on helium, isn't it?
I was like, what they've been feeding him is like fucking floating away here. But
for me, by the way, just to random, if you're looking for a really good paranormal movie, Sinister. Really good film.
Man.
Is that the one with Ethan Hawke in it?
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's a good film.
Yeah.
Good film.
Great Arthur Harrow. Yeah.
Great film.
Now that one does shit you up. Like,
yeah, that one. Where it's in the pool.
I'm like, nah, I'm just going to leave the light on while we watch this film. Is that okay?
Just don't go in the attic when you watch that film.
So yeah, we've had some good analysis from this one, but let's go into to some of the more fun stuff. Yep. What's your all-time favorite horror movie and or game? I know I put or game originally, but I feel like you've got an answer for probably both of them. And if depending on what it is, what stands out about said movie / game?
So I've got a straight answer for a game. A movie's going to be really tough because it's a really solid question, and I'm going to give you an.
If you haven't got an answer for your favorite horror movie, what's your favorite horror type of movie, like paranormal, slasher, zombie? If that'd be an easier one to answer.
Slasher. Always slashers. I love the slashers, man. I think it's between the original Texas Chainsaw or the original 1978-79 Halloween, John Carpenter.
Yeah, mate, I love Halloween movies. I mean, the last one was dog shit.
Yeah, we don't talk about that one.
But to be fair, the second to last one, Halloween Kills?
Halloween Kills is brilliant.
Spot on, mate. It's one of the best ones. It's not the best, but it's one of. It's up there, mate.
So that would be my answer for a film, but it's also not 100% because I could go on. There's so many. I'm a big werewolf fan, so I like Bad Moon, The Howling. You know what I mean? I could go on. It's really hard.
It's too
brilliant film. Absolutely amazing.
It's too deep. There's too many to be involved with.
Sorry, Martin's just mentioned Dog Soldiers, and that is literally actually one of my favorite films. I just forgot it.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite bit from it? The favorite words? What that?
Oh, it's got to be.
I know the one.
Yeah. You know the one.
Say it.
I hope you choke on me, you bitch, or something like that.
I hope you give you the shits.
I hope I give you the shits. That's it. Yeah. Funny story. So I went to a horror convention a couple of years ago in Manchester with Mitch, and I actually they did a panel for Dog Soldiers, and I did a Q&A. I got to ask a question.
Oh,
and
sick.
Yeah, and those guys, they're so cool, and they're the most English people you've ever heard as well, like proper. So I asked them, I said, you know these werewolf costumes because the actors that played the werewolves in it are actually choreographed dancers. They're like ballet dancers, which is like how they get the movement and stuff. So I said, where are those suits that you put them in? Like, where are they? And I think he said something like one of them was in his house, one of them was in storage, and the others went missing. So they don't know where they are. And I think he said he saw a random eBay list for one of the heads that popped up. So I'd love to get my hands on one of them. Imagine that.
That'd be sick. Just in the corner of a mannequin.
That'd be awesome.
AliExpress.
Yeah.
Or Temu.
They got a 3D printed model. I'll get one 3D printed and glue fur to it, mate.
I don't think you'd be able to do ballet dancing in that though, will
No. I can't believe I forgot that iconic line. I'm not a horror fan.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I think I've probably seen it like sooner than you.
Yeah,
You call him a
probably.
wimp or something, isn't it? It's like it's proper. Like at the end of it, it's like you wimp or something. It's not even like a swear word or anything.
Sausages. That's what
Sausages
it was.
is just a classic one from
Sausages.
Sarge, or whatever his name is.
Sausages. But yeah, in terms of a game, and I'm really glad you asked this question. It's pretty easy. It might be quite obvious. It's Silent Hill. It always has been Silent Hill. It always will be Silent Hill. For me, Silent Hill has always stood out from any other horror game that's ever come out, mainly because of its deep concept. From a first glance, it's spooky, it's creepy, it's unsettling, right? However, Silent Hill is much more deeper than your average horror game. And if you really get into the world, you will see how its psychological ways of tapping into a person's turmoil, it explores themes that nobody dared to go to for the time, especially the original and the second one. The second one is my favorite. But the idea that your darkest fears and trauma and psychological issues can physically manifest like as a monster, how did they come up with it? What a good idea. Because the thing that I like is that your Silent Hill is different from my Silent Hill.
Yeah.
We could go in the town and I would see different monsters because of what's up there. And it'd be the same for you, and it'd be the same for you. So, I mean, apart from like the monster designs that are all designed very cleverly to suit things, and I'll give you an example. There's a reason why the nurses look the way they do, is because the main character has deep sexual frustration, right? So they make these nurses appealing to him. It's very, very clever how they do it. And you've got the sound design, you've got the amazing soundtrack by Akira Yamaoka, which plays a crucial role in creating a very immersive, unsettling experience. And I think the use of sound to invoke tension enhances the dread and emotional impact on that game. And with the second one's remake that released a few weeks ago, they've done so, Bloober Team has done so well in, I almost feel like, exploring the original narrative that Konami wanted to back in 2001, but due to the limitations kind of weren't able to get out. So it's just will always be the game for me, and hence why I've spent so much money on it, collecting the things I do. Because trust me, collecting Silent Hill, it will break your bank. I'll tell you that now. But yeah, Silent Hill for the game, all the time, every day.
Here you're coming, like, yeah, we'll put the price up. Alex is coming.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
his favourite series.
For those who have watched one of the previous episodes, and we gave Alex a bit of a shout out on that, do not pre-order Silent Hill games from Game in the UK.
I've still not got my steelbook.
We won't get into that, man.
I've still not got it. I pre-ordered this, right? I pre-ordered this in the beginning of September. Okay, I've still not got my steelbook. I got the base game a day late after release. Okay, and nobody knows when we're getting it. This is the thing. I'm not the only one. Anyone that ordered through shitty game online has not got their steelbook. And you know the most aggravating thing is, you could go into a game on release date and the staff were going, "Oh yeah, there you go, mate. Yeah, I've just got them knocking about."
Just giving them
Bro,
away.
I paid extra for that, you dickhead. Do you know what I mean? I can't believe, mate. I was
Give
fuming.
me my case.
I mean, me and like loads of other people don't even think we're getting them because the signs of game going under are there, and we feel like they're gonna go under and just go, meh. Sorry about your steelbooks. So yeah,
I've got two.
Off topic there, but
I've got two side questions for Alex. First of all, number one, have you got the mod on Silent Hill 2 where it turns Pyramid Head into Thomas the Tank Engine?
I've not.
Do 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 do.
And the second
I
one
actually think that'd be terrifying. Just in the mist, just got
that'd be horrible.
Just Thomas's face just appears.
Just the echoing of a train horn, mate.
And the other one is, what do you reckon to the Silent Hill movies?
Okay, very good question. First one. Okay, so first one, I liked it for what it was. It didn't make sense to me. They put Pyramid Head in both films, which, and I'm going to sound like a right sassy bastard, but he doesn't belong in them. And the only reason I say that is because he is only supposed to be canon for James Sunderland. So Silent Hill 2's character, he is a manifestation of his will to be punished and of his guilt, I believe. Someone in the comments will probably correct me on that. But yeah, so he should only canonically be for James Sunderland. But obviously, I know he's iconic, so that's why they've put him in. However, bit of news for you, if you didn't know, they are making a new one called Return to Silent Hill, and it is Silent Hill 2, the game, as a film. So for those people that maybe haven't played Silent Hill 2, don't plan on playing it, but want to know the narrative and why I'm so passionate about it, hopefully they can deliver and show you the beautiful story of Silent Hill 2, because it is beautiful. It's sad and it's very poetic and it's very scary. But yeah, I mean, I like them for what they are, but I would definitely not have gone in some of the directions they went in. And I think a lot of people might agree with me on that. I know a lot of people didn't like them. I know a lot of people loved them, and everyone's different, and you're entitled to your own opinion, obviously. I liked the second one because it was basically a bit of Silent Hill 3, the game, and they even made the girl look like Heather Mason, which was nice. And we even had the mall from the very start of the game, which was nice. And there was even Robbie the Rabbit, this dude up here. So yeah, there was absolute legend, Robbie. But yeah, there were a couple of things.
Top Shagger.
Top Shagger.
There is Top Shagger.
But the one thing I did like about the film is they touched more into the cult of Silent Hill than, so that was good. But yeah. I'm excited to hear about the Return to Silent Hill. The guy that made either the first or the first two, is doing it again. So hopefully he does it justice. If not, I'll write to Ofcom.
Yeah. I played.
Yeah, but to be fair though, the Silent Hill film, the first one, Sean Bean's in it, isn't he? So
I know, yeah.
He is. Sean Bean is in.
Sean Bean's in it, mate.
Hey, a minute, does he die?
Yeah, I'm sure he does.
I think there's someone made a chart. He's like he's in like 42 films and he's died in like 39 of them or something mad like that.
That's his thing, isn't it?
Even like Game of Thrones #spoilers, but Merc's off, mate, and like everything in it he gets done in.
Thing is, on Game of Thrones, I was waiting. I was like, "There's got to be a chance he could survive this." Boom, dead.
Nah.
Like everything else.
As soon as them credits roll and it says Sean Bean, you know he's dead, mate.
You know he's done. As soon as you see him in the poster, mate, of the film, you know he's going to die.
He's going to die. So he dies first. It's just the anytime you go see a film with him, it's just wondering when he's going to die and how he's going to die. But you know he's going to die.
And if you go to cinema and see he doesn't die in a film, you're like stunned, like for the rest of the day, like what's going on?
Wins an Oscar for not dying.
Also, I do also have a Silent Hill.
Look at that lot.
Yes, man.
Get this man his steel bookcase. What's going on?
Get me my steel bookcase.
Game, you suck. I did play the first Silent Hill. It first came out on PS1, the demo. Yeah, this guy's got it in his collection. But I remember how freaked out I was because you're in a school, aren't you? And there's little kids running around, and I was like flipping. I don't know about this game.
Mate, there's something about horror children. It's like
it's the worst, isn't it?
It hits a different level, doesn't it?
You know what I think also made Silent Hill quite scary is like the graininess of it. The graphics aren't good, and I like that. You know what I mean? That makes it more scary to me.
Almost adds to it, doesn't it?
Okay, we'll get back to the Q&A. Next question is there a horror movie or game that you feel changed the genre for the better?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I think it's Resident Evil. I know we've talked about it, but it is, isn't it? Because it introduced many elements that became staples in survival horror and horror games, such as limited resources, inventory management. The use of a fixed camera angle, I think, also was great to enhance tension. And I know, obviously, some of that was down to limitations of the console, but it helps. I think it worked. And I think its sort of blend of action and horror helped sort of broaden the appeal of the game. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like not everyone wants to run away and hide from things. Some people just want to shoot shit.
Rambo,
And this
isn't it?
game-
Get involved,
Yeah.
mate, innit? Just get involved.
Get
Well,
Rambo
that's
knife out, innit?
So I think like the mixture of zombie. Oh wait, I can shoot it though, but I have to be careful because I might run out of ammo. I think is really cool.
Yeah.
But I don't want to just leave it with Resident Evil. We've already talked about it. I actually would really like to mention Dead by Daylight. Now, the reason I mentioned Dead by Daylight is because although I feel like it has lost most of its like horror that it did have,
Yeah.
like when it first came out, everyone was like, running away. Do you know what I mean? I still think it has those elements, the element of surprise and tension. But I think also due to skill issues of myself, because I get quite ragey at it as well.
I'm
But,
terrible at that game, mate.
I
So
play
bad
it.
at it.
I play it with my girlfriend, and we do get quite raged. So, but
I
when you're playing with friends, it's good.
I always
Sorry,
get
Martin.
hanged up. I do. I always get hanged up on that game, mate. I'm always like, all matches like hanging up, like someone save me, someone save me.
Yeah, you're either running around in a loop or you're going.
yeah.
But yeah, no. On a serious note, the reason I'm going to mention Dead by Daylight is because you tell me a game that not only is asymmetric and multiplayer with your friends, but also collaborates that many iconic horror villains in one game. What other game can you play as Leatherface chasing Leon Kennedy or Pinhead chasing Ellen Ripley? Do you know
Probably
what I mean?
Call
So
of
I gotta
Duty,
give
mate,
it.
now.
Yeah, literally, they got all the clown now, bro. But yeah, I wanted to mention Dead by Daylight because I feel like although it didn't change like horror, I think it was nice to have a collaboration of all those iconic horror villains from games and movies in one game. I think that's a really neat idea, and that's why I actually really do like Dead by Daylight.
Yeah, I've just thought of one on the spot here as well, just to sort of relate to that question. But obviously, this relates to our podcast, Controllers and Katanas. We talk a lot about anime, Japanese stuff. How well has Japan done in general to like sort of revolutionise the horror scene, mate? Most of the top level games are Japanese. You got things like the original Ring, even like Battle Royale. I know it's not necessarily a horror film, but it's like Japan in general have done so much, haven't they, for like horror as well?
They are really
it's
good.
so good, mate.
Absolutely. Konami is one of the biggest out there, you know. And it's Capcom as well, isn't it? Is Capcom Japanese? Or is that Japanese?
Yeah,
Capcom?
is Japanese.
Yeah.
When you mentioned the Ring, then it reminded me of that Scary Movie 2 or 3, where it's like the Ring, but it's some guy sitting in the toilet in it, and he stands up. It's like, what the... That's when Ian said it. It's in my mind. I had to get it out there.
All I remember from Scary Movie 2, mate, is the aliens.
Oh yeah.
The chicken, what about chicken, isn't it? The chicken bit where like sticking his and the mash in it is sticking.
Oh, and the mashed potato.
Yeah.
In with a dodgy hand.
Going back to what you mentioned earlier, Alex, though, about Resident Evil, like resources. I remember playing Code Veronica, and I got it's like disc, wasn't it? I got like to the end of disc 1, and I had no bullets left. So I was literally like, there's spiders in that bit. And I was there with my knife, like trying to tackle them. I couldn't do it. I gave up on the game.
You're not alone, right? I've literally played every Resident Evil, and Code Veronica is the only one I never beat. It's that hard. It's so hard I couldn't do it.
That was one of my favourites from the originals, though, because it was different as well.
It was different, although Steve was really annoying and used to piss me off. But I ran out of grenade launcher ammo for Nos. I think it was Nosferatu, one of the bosses, like Bandersnatcher. I don't know what they were, but you had to use a grenade launcher in one of the bits, and I ran out of ammo, and I was basically like stun locked. So I gave up.
With that game, though.
Yeah.
With that game, you get to. It's just 2. You get like Chris Redfield. You're like, here we go, legend, mate, legend. Let's get him. But I had a knife, so I couldn't do anything. I was like, I have to give up that game then. I was over like Rambo knife, like ah.
That's the British in you, that is, mate. You got to have a knife, haven't you?
Knife.
I just watched John Rambo, mate. I was like, this is it. This is me.
Good films, to be fair. Good films. Are there any horror movies that you think would make great games that haven't been adapted yet?
Yeah, I think actually 2, and obviously this is my opinion. So, If you don't agree, fair play. But yeah, I had two ideas. So one was actually The Witch from 2015, with its sort of historical setting and themes of like paranoia, isolation. I think the film could sort of lend itself into a survival horror game, but maybe like Outlast.
Yeah.
I think that a game, it could emphasize on exploration, a bit of resource management. You know, imagine like going through this sort of 17th century like English landscape with like satanic-y vibes and like horrible stuff like Black Phil, the goat. But yeah, so I
Wait,
think
man,
that
Uncle Phil then.
Uncle Phil. But yeah,
What are you doing here, mate? Get out of here.
Uncle Phil from Fresh Prince, what are you doing, man?
It's like gnawing on some grass on like the field. You're like, what are you doing, mate? Get out of here. But yeah, carry on.
But yeah, yeah, and I think it's supernatural elements as well in that. So you know, I think that could be. I was trying to think of something that maybe is a bit out there. You know, I could have gone, oh yeah, a Halloween game. You know what I mean? But I kind of wanted to think a bit outside the box. And I really, and I actually wanted to see this for a long time. I really, really would love to see a multiplayer version of John Carpenter's The Thing. Now I know we technically have a child-friendly version, which is Among Us, okay? But like, could you actually imagine like going into a match with your mates, right? And one of you has to infect the others while hiding in plain sight and keeping it quiet. So like, I'm infecting you, you've got like the thing in you, and do you know what I mean? You're making more, you're sort of infecting more people. But like, I think that would be really cool. I think that has a lot of potential. But then again, we've got Among Us, so maybe we're already there. But I think like an actual scary
Like
Thing
a horror themed
going through
version.
this, yeah, going through the snow with a flamethrower and stuff, with like horrible body horror, would be cool. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
No,
I mean,
I
like,
think they're good ideas. Almost like Lethal Company in a sense, where you've got those sort of like atmospheres and those sort of like levels where you can't really see a lot either, and it's just snowy. I know the graphics aren't great on that game, but I can understand where you're coming from on the Thing one, definitely.
yeah, I mean, like that with like the Among Us style. That'd be good, mate. Because
It would.
I'd love to be the Thing, mate, and just like sneak around and like befriend people and just like take him down and.
Yeah, and I mean, like, could you imagine if like they made like different maps and like they had the kennel and you could like be one of the dogs?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Have the abs split open and stuff. That'd be terrifying, man.
Well, what I can imagine someone doing something like this on Steam, but like a Pet Cemetery game where you play as like a dog or something. You got to chase after the people. They're trying to like get out of the house, and you just go through the windows like a rabbit and start gnawing on them, bro.
Yeah, they lock the door and they're like, "Oh, safe now. If we can close the window, mate."
That'd be wicked.
I do like talking like a Dark Ages like witch kind of game. That'd be really good. That would.
It was a game that I saw, and I can't remember the title, and it was a good few months ago now, where it was like zombies. Like it was like a survival zombie game, but it was set in like the 16th, 15th century, and you were like playing as a knight. I don't know what it was called, but there was like gameplay footage where you're in this like proper crusty, muddy village.
I think I remember
like,
that.
Yeah, it looked
I've
quite
seen
good.
Something about that.
It'd be good, like that witch game is on about like having like some play witch hunters and then one plays the witch, but like the witch can like blend in.
Yeah,
With like civilians in the village or whatever, and you got to try and work it all out, and that'd be sick. That one.
It would definitely. I think whenever you take like a horror game, put it into like an old school setting, like Amnesia, The Dark Descent.
Yeah,
I think that game's called Blight. Blight Survival is a medieval co-op extraction set in an alternate 14th century. You're basically bombing around as a knight. I don't know if this is the one that I saw, but there's like knight zombies, like medieval zombies after him and stuff.
It looked quite good, to be fair.
To be fair, this Blight looks sick. I'm not even gonna lie. It's not even out yet. It's been in alpha, hasn't it? Plan release date to be announced. So now it's not even been released yet. We'll have to get on that if it does.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, I think that'd be good.
Yeah, some good ideas there. Yeah. If you were to design your own horror movie or game, what would be the setting? And would it be a central, like a monster or a villain? What would it be?
Okay, this is a really hard one, because you've got to kind of. I was trying to think. I've got to think of something that's not been done before, which is everything. Everything's been done.
Well, like maybe something that's already out, but you can like adapt it to your
Yeah.
way.
See, I've thought of two things, but mine aren't. They're like they'd be joke versions. Like us lot would love them. They'd be dead funny, but like other people just wouldn't understand them.
Like the Ghoulies one.
No, like work,
crawl
mate.
up into a man's arse as like a game.
Like mine would be like it'd be where we work or like where Alex used to work with us. There'd be that like the warehouse and the offices and stuff, and then it would just be you have to escape from Perry, the office veg head mate. He's just chasing after you. You got to run away from him, innit?
Or like the zombies outside the warehouse. You got to lock the warehouse.
It's like an escape room, innit? But Perry just chases you around, mate. You know, like Piggy on Roblox, bro. Have you ever seen that? It's just Perry, innit?
Oh god, yeah, that's a perfect setting for a horror game, especially the upstairs office, mate. But yeah, so I give it, yeah,
Put him off his thought.
I give it a lot of thought, and it got the cogs turning in my head, right? Because for me, and I'm interested to know what you guys think. What is one of the scariest things in the modern world right now you can think of? And I'm interested to see if any of you say what I thought of.
Inflation.
Inflation, the game.
Tax rates, mate.
COVID, isn't it?
You think COVID?
No. Monkeypox, isn't it? I don't know.
Ebola,
Okay.
mate.
Has it?
So for me, it's AI. I think
Yeah.
AI is.
Yeah, you agree.
I think AI is quite scary. I mean, it's been used in great ways and
sick,
also
but yeah, it's
in not so
also-
great ways. And I think, what if we had a horror game with AI as the central? And I know it's been done probably, but like I was having an idea about like AI cloning people, becoming people, and you have to sort of figure out who's really human, who's AI. It's a bit of a hard question. Is the best thing I could come up with, if I'm honest. But I like the idea of like sort of there's being something maybe wrong. Like they've tried to perfect the human face, but there's something quite off about it. Like maybe one of the eyes is a bit lower down than it should be. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, could you imagine in, like, in a scary setting though, like like make the graphics like old school. Do you know what I mean? Like make the graphics like PS1 style, but have them like really creepy. I don't know. It was a tough one, lads. I'm not gonna lie. That one really threw me off. Do you guys have any ideas?
I mean, I was scratching my head for a long time, but like what you're saying, almost like a horror like version of like an iRobot type situation. Yeah. Except obviously they look human, or even like Terminator in a sense. Obviously, you get to a point where the Terminator can obviously look human and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, but when I was thinking about it, I couldn't really think of anything that hadn't already been done, because the genre is so vast. It's almost like you can't really get anything that's necessarily. You could create your own monsters, you could create your own environment, but down to the basics and the premise of the game, it's probably already been done, to be fair, hasn't it? That's the thing.
I mean,
like when you get down to the basics of it all,
you can basically turn anything into a horror game, can't you?
Yeah.
Like I saw a game on Facebook that was coming out on Steam because the rights to Steamboat Willie is now public. Someone's creating a Steamboat Willie horror game.
I mean, it goes as far as those Winnie the Pooh horror movies, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Blood and Honey. I never even saw them. I don't know if I will, to be honest.
I think they're releasing another one.
Oh god!
Alex needs to buy them and put them in the background of your.
Yeah, we'll have to watch them.
Fucking Winnie the Pooh in there. Thinking of like that question, to be honest, I mean I love more like the paranormal side of it, like ghosts and stuff, but I ain't got a clue. Like I ain't got any ideas on that one. I'd probably just do something that's already been done, but like change it to my style, and probably like a haunted house again, and just kind of do people getting killed off in a certain way.
I mean, the other idea I had was like a World War I, like trench thing. Like the idea of like there being like monsters and stuff in like a trench, or something to do with the World War, but like you ain't got a weapon. I don't know. I was thinking of settings more than anything else. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, trying to think of like an eerie setting, like
yeah.
I think
those sort of settings are, aren't they? You know, you think of like any sort of adaptation of like World War One, World War Two, and you see the trenches and that sort of stuff. That's, I think, because you've got that sense of that actually did happen and that was real. That I think that adds to the eeriness of those situations, and obviously that sort of thing. It sounds daft, but what was that like Nazi zombie movie, mate? Can you remember that?
Is it Dead Snow?
Dead Snow, that's it. I mean, it's a bit daft, don't get me wrong, but like that's a similar sort of premise to that in a way, isn't it? Where there's loads of these like, obviously like World War Two and World War One, like zombies after you, and like it's a bit mad, but like those sort of things, they are them environments and those sort of like I say, the eeriness of those is a bit mad, isn't it?
Well, if I'm honest, when I was like coming up with this like idea of like No Man's Land, I've kind of stole it because there is a film that was released in 2002. I want to say 2002, called Death Watch, which has
I think I've heard of that.
Got Andy Serkis in, and that's about like No Man's Land being paranormal, and like the barbed wire and shit like comes to life, and like I've not seen it in years, but it just made me think of that.
2002, that came out.
Was it 2002?
You could have like a game or a movie like in the trenches, but like psychologically, in like the mind stuff's happening, and I mean it could go down.
Yeah, like Amnesia.
Well.
Like, even something like where you're in like an abandoned building or something, and then as you're slowly going through it, there's like entities in the building, but as you go through a door, say for example there's something in there, you want to run away, you go through the other door, but it's moved. The room that you go through next is different. If you could think of a way to make like a game where every time you go through a door, you end up in a different situation or scenario or something like that, that might be pretty cool. I don't know.
Yeah.
We're not game designers, though, to be fair, are we? So...
No.
Not yet. We could do that.
Yeah, not yet.
But on the basis of developing games and movies and that sort of thing, if you were making a horror movie or a game, which director or what game developer would you want to work with, and why?
Either Capcom or Konami. I know it's quite basic answer, but those guys have some of the best survival horror games ever released, in my opinion. I mean, I would slightly teeter towards Konami's side. Those guys over there, I think, are really creative. They really know what makes a good horror game. And yeah, I mean, Capcom though, a lot of people. I mean, I don't know if people know. Well, probably do now. Capcom have a really good survival horror game called Haunting Grounds that came out on the PS2. And it's a bit more sort of obscure now, I think. If I remember right, it was created. It had something to do with either Resident Evil 4 or Devil May Cry. I might be getting this completely wrong. But it was like a beta, and they didn't want to scrap something. I've probably got this completely wrong. I actually managed to get my hands on Haunting Grounds last year for my PS2. But that's another really good Capcom title. I mean, it's very different. But it's very good, and I think with a movie, I think I'm going old school. So it's going to be like Wes Craven or John Carpenter. I think if we're talking modern, maybe Jason Blum. I like some of Blumhouse's stuff. Yeah. What about you guys?
Yeah, I mean, it's like you say, it's got to be like Capcom or Konami, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because they've brought such incredible games out to the horror, the gaming scene. Director. I'm not a massive horror fan, but into horror, but I'd struggle with that one.
It's like that. Like you're saying with that Haunting Ground, it's quite similar to like the Clock Tower type games, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And obviously they're Capcom as well, so I'd actually probably teeter towards Capcom more than anything, to be honest, because you know for a fact you're going to get that sort of survivalness that you really like, the grittiness of it all. So, but again, director, it's hard, isn't it? Because you think to yourself, it depends on what sort of horror movie you're going to make, doesn't it? I guess, which obviously that goes on to the last question we've just been talking about. Yeah. But obviously you've got the classics, haven't you, like Carpenter and things like that. But it's
I think it would be Carpenter for me. I think.
Yeah. Do you think John Carpenter? I think it's either going to be John Carpenter or Wes Craven.
Yeah, it's got to be. I know the best, aren't they?
The best.
Well, some of the best.
And I
Legendary.
definitely have Tom Savini as well doing my creature effects. He's a legend.
I mean, Wes Craven. To be fair, though, I actually love the Scream movies, mate. I honestly really rate the Scream movies, and obviously he did like it's Wes Craven did a Nightmare on Elm Street and stuff like that as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
Mate, they're the best.
They're some of my favourite, mate. They're some of my favourite. Didn't he do one of the Hills Have Eyes or something like the old one or something?
Yes, he did do a 1977 one.
Yeah, I think something like that. Yeah, it's got to be him, mate. To be fair, Wes Craven's a legend.
Yeah, Wes Craven. He's got quite a big portfolio. He did. There was another one he did as well. I can't remember what it was called.
He's got some history as well, though, hasn't he? That's
I can't remember what it was called.
Swamp Thing. Do you remember that one?
That was it. Swamp Thing.
Swamp Thing. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that was Wes Craven, bro.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to think of. Swamp Thing.
But yeah, Wes Craven, like Nightmare on Elm Street, for me.
Yeah, it's an absolute belter.
The best, mate. The best.
It's got to be Robert Englund as well.
Yeah.
Oh, mate.
You know what annoyed me?
He?
Yeah, the newer Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
Obviously, Freddy Krueger's like a killer of kids or whatever. In the new one, made him a pedo as well. I was like, what?
What?
Literally ruined him. I was like,
it was always kind of hinted that he was a bit weird.
It was a bit noncy, wasn't it? To be honest. But...
Yeah, it was a little bit of a nonce, but like, I've not seen the new one because if I'm honest, I saw the trailer and went, that can fuck off. To be honest,
get in the bin.
Yeah.
It's Rorschach, isn't it? It's Rorschach from Watchmen, isn't it? That actor. He plays him. Yeah.
He does an alright job, to be fair, but it's not. Yeah, like you say.
Robert England's the best. I mean.
Yeah, always classic, absolute. He's the face. He is Freddy Krueger, and that is it. You can't. I mean, the guy even came back for Freddy versus Jason. So.
Is that in Freddy versus Jason?
Actually, mate, you know when I was a kid, I used to love Freddy versus Jason.
So sick, mate.
I thought it was wicked, man.
I think it got some shtick when it come out, but like, mate, the soundtrack's like proper metal as well, like fighting and stuff. But it's wicked, mate. It's dead cheesy as well, which I love.
Yeah, What's that?
I think it's Freddy vs Jason where Jason puts like a girl in like a sleeping bag, whacks her against a tree. I was like, what the Who thought of that?
Sleeping bag kill. That's a classic, mate.
That's not the worst way to die.
And the thing is, it's not like he does it like loads and loads of times. It just goes boom, boom. That's it. She's just dead in the sleeping bag.
Just straight away done for.
Done that, mate.
Classic kill.
Went to sleep, never woke up, mate. That's it. So, as you know, Alex, we have many viewers and many listeners.
Of course.
Double digits, man.
What recommendations would you give to on like movies, games, or books?
So I've come up with one for each.
Ooh.
Tell
me.
So it's not really horror. Okay, and I'm going to get a lot of controversy here because it is controversial at the moment, and there's people going, it's not scary, it's shite. Watch the Terrifier franchise. Do it. Be sickened, be shocked. I watched the third one a couple of weeks ago. It's mad.
I watched it literally last night.
It's mad. And I know it's not technically horror, it's more of a shocky gore fest. And yes, the story is shite, we all know, but it's also, I love Art the Clan. I think he's the closest thing to a modern day slasher, and he's funny. I love that. If you take that film too seriously, then you won't enjoy it. So,
yeah, you've got to go in there like knowing to laugh. Like it is going to be funny. Like it genuinely is. I
think the first one had more of a creepy factor to it. To be fair.
Yeah, and the first one was quite eerie, wasn't it? That one was almost a little bit more supernatural horror type. And the others
are just kind of more of a gore fest. But I met Damien Leone and I met David Howard Thornton at For the Love of Horror, and those guys are literally just the best. By the way, like they are so sound, man. And Damien Leone's got a really good sense of humor, and he doesn't give a shit. That's why I love it, man. Like he'll sit on stage, cross-legged, microphone like that, and he's like, "I'm just gonna do what I want." And do you know what I mean? And I'm like, yeah, that's a guy. Do you know what I mean? He's not going for the typical. The one thing, right, that I like about the Terror franchise is this guy started out independently. He did the first one with a very low budget. I'm pretty sure some of the actors didn't get paid, and he went with it. And by the time now, I remember him talking on the panel about making the Terrifier 3 just after number 2 had come out, and he was saying, you know, we've started pitching it to the big sort of franchises, and they've said, some of them have flat out said no, we're not touching it, and some have said we will, but you've got to take this out and do this. And I remember him sat there on that panel and he said, like, I'll just do it my way then, 'cause it's my way or the highway. And to be fair to him, he has, and it's literally number 1 in the box office, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like, I mean, they're literally in where we are. There's an Odeon cinema in Derby, and they've shown it literally 3 times. One time Friday, one time Saturday, one time Sunday. I'm pretty sure it sold out all 3 times.
It did. My cinema was packed on the Friday. It was absolutely packed. But yeah, I recommend it if you just want to be shocked and have a little bit of a laugh, and don't take it too seriously. There is lots of horror movies I could recommend, but I feel like horror is subjective, and what I find creepy, someone might not. Yeah. You know, so I think just give that a go and see if you can stomach it for fun. Just don't let your kids see it, or maybe do, and then they'll end up like us 3.
Don't eat like don't eat like a bolognese while you're watching it as well.
My girlfriend will dead ass sit there eating like all of that while watching it, and I'm like, I actually can't do that. Like, I actually cannot watch gore.
I've done it before, but
I can't do it. It makes me feel like I'm eating what's going on, man. Do you know what I mean?
Ketchup, ketchup on it.
Got them intestines, mate.
But for a game, I recommend Haunting Grounds or Fatal Frame. Is also a very good one. Yeah, Crimson Butterfly, does it go by as well? No, Project Zero. Sorry, it's either Fatal Frame or Project Zero, depending on where you're from. And so I think Fatal Frame is a good one to mention. Again, it's the lesser known side of survival horror. I mean, I say the lesser known side, it's probably known now, but when I was into it a few years ago, and these sort of things didn't come back in to the picture until I think just recently now, because I've been retro game collecting now for quite a long time. So I think all this stuff's kind of coming back, and they're adding them onto like the PS Plus library now as well. Like Dino Crisis got added onto the PS Plus, which is annoying because I just bought that a couple months ago as well.
They need to remake that, don't they?
Absolutely, man. That's crying for a remake. That is. Do you know they're doing a Jurassic Park survival horror game in first person?
I've seen that. Yeah.
That looks mad,
mate. It looks
so good. Mad.
I'm on that, mate. I'm on that.
I cannot wait for that. So yeah, so then obviously then you said a book as well. So for a book, I'm going with the Metro series by Dmitry Glukhovsky. Is that how you say it?
I can't read, so.
So starting with Metro 2033, I know they made it into a game. I've played all 3. I've played 2033, I've played Exodus, and I've played the second one. I can't remember the name now. But actually playing the game is what made me read the book, and the book is better. It's really good. Okay. I love the setting of this post-apocalyptic Moscow with all these mutated creatures, and also the game is really good as well. If you've never played the Metro series, oh my god, give it a go. It's absolutely brilliant. And it's also got a bit of a supernatural side, really good narrative as well. So Metro is a very good read.
On that, you know when you played the game and then you read the book, was there stuff that in the book that they missed out totally, and you're like, oh, they could have put that in the game? Or
yeah, Artyom speaks in the book. He has full-on dialogue. You only ever hear him speak in the monologue to opening chapters in the game.
Oh, okay.
He's a silent protagonist in the game, so it's really cool, actually. Because I mean, I say I've read the book, I listened to the audio book.
Same thing,
cool. Yeah. Same thing. Which was cool because they kind of put on this voice of Artyom. And it was cool because it's like they'll mention like, I think there's a guy called Pavel in it, and he talks, and Artyom will talk back. But in the game, you're a silent protagonist. Do you know what I mean? So it's really cool. It did change it.
Adds like a new dynamic to it.
Yeah, exactly. It sort of explored the narrative more of that world, and you got to kind of know Artyom as a person a bit more in the book.
That's good. Nice. What about you, Ian? Have you got any recommendations?
I'm going to keep it to the Katanas side of this podcast, mate. I'm going to stick with the anime here. I got to stick a bit in, haven't I?
The
I know
anime
Alex has seen this. To be fair, I'm pretty sure he's seen this anyway. But number one horror anime is probably Death Note. If you've not seen Death Note, it's phenomenal. An absolutely fantastic story throughout, and most people, even if you're not a fan of anime, you will enjoy that. There's actually a new one that's just finished airing. There's 4 episodes called Uzumaki. It's like black and white, and the entire premise is like spirals. And basically, it's just in town. There's like there's an entity or something in the town, and it just keeps mangling people together. And like, honestly, it's all based on spirals. And it's quite funny in a sense, but it's got some creepy ass shit in that. So that's one to watch if you're into the horror stuff.
I think for me, like going to that series, I think for me, Supernatural is always going to be number one.
Supernatural,
classic.
Buffy Vampire Slayer, mate.
Buffy, but also The Haunting of Hill House, I think, is really good. Like when I was watching through that, they say there's ghosts in the background. I don't see any ghosts, but I know other people who watched it at different times and they've seen ghosts and stuff. I'm just like, I need to watch it again. But it's so scary when stuff got like shown in there. It's like,
I must admit, even there's one that Martin got me onto recently. I've not seen many, but there's one called.
That's great.
That's freaky. But even as far as American Horror Story, mate, it's not that freaky. But some of the seasons of that, there's some proper creepy aspects to that show.
Yeah,
creepy aspects to that.
There was a Korean series I watched.
Is it The Terror?
Evie. With what? Sorry.
There's one called The Terror.
No, it's set in an apartment complex, and there's
monsters. I know that one. Yeah,
that one was really creepy. I can't remember what that's called.
It's like a creepy old woman, isn't it?
There's like different monsters in it. There's like this big hulky bloke as well, and this woman with like this long neck or something. I can't remember what it was called. I think it was a South Korean one. It's on Netflix.
Is it?
I just can't remember what it's called. It was good though. It was good.
South Korean, they've got some good shows, mate. Like that is Kingdom as well, which is
Kingdom's sick.
Brilliant.
Zombies in like the Korean like olden times. That's so good. Ancient times.
Going with swords and the horseback.
Yeah.
Isn't that Hellbound? I think that one's so.
I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, that's really good as well. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the name of that.
There's loads of Korean ones, isn't it? Mate, Korea makes some fucking top level shows, you know. Some really good shows on that.
Solo Leveling, isn't it?
Sweet Home.
Sweet Home, yeah.
Sweet Home, yeah, that is one. You're right. Yeah,
that's what it's called.
Like you say, did you just mention Kingdom? Martin?
Yeah, Kingdom. Yeah.
That
was phenomenal.
If you want a good
Parasite. Have you seen They've got one called Parasite as well.
Parasite, yeah.
Yeah, there's an anime called Parasite as well, but it's slightly different. But yeah,
a good zombie flick as well. A Korean one on Netflix. Is it #Alive or I Am Alive?
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, I've not seen that one, but
that's good. That's where he's trapped. He's like using he's like a streamer guy, and the zombie apocalypse kicks off, and he's like stuck in his room, and like he's using like his phone. It's really good. That is. It's just a classic zombie flick, but it's good. It's a good one.
I don't know if I told you, Alex, but I'm going to South Korea next year, and I've been watching loads. I'm trying to get into loads of South Korean stuff, but the Train to Busan obviously is a big film.
My heart, mate. Don't even.
I'm going to Busan as well.
I sat down and watched that film with Evie. She nearly cried, mate, and I nearly cried. That ending is horrific.
I've not seen it yet, but I will watch. Obviously, getting the South Korean mood in it.
It's good.
Some of this stuff's so good, mate. So good.
I mean, I started watching loads of South Korean stuff like a couple of years ago, and I literally loved it, mate. Like,
we saw one recently, didn't we? That we was going to talk about.
Yeah,
we will do at some point. To be fair, what's it called? Bloodhound or something like that, wasn't it?
Bloodhounds, and it's basically like fighting.
Yeah, it's just like loads of scrapping and stuff.
Easy watching it. Easy watch.
Yeah, that's it. Right, to end it, lads. This is one that no one's expecting. It's a bit stupid, mate. You're a burglar, but your only job is to slightly inconvenience your victims. What 3 things are you stealing?
Oh, easy, man. TV remote batteries, they're gone, bro. They're gone. Light bulbs, all the light bulbs out the top, right? And I say that because I had that done to me when I moved in a new house, right? And it's the most inconvenient fucking thing ever. So the light bulbs are gone, the batteries are gone for the remote, and what else? Spoons, mate, they're gone. Spoons are gone, mate.
R.I.P. spoons, mate.
Spoons, light bulbs, and batteries, mate, gone.
Mate, do you know what I'm going for straight away? HDMI cables. R.I.P. Yeah. Mate, you know your kettle? I'll leave the kettle bit, but I'm taking the plug-in part that you put your kettle on. That's gone, mate. Good luck making a brew in that bad boy. And then, what else was it? Phone chargers, bro.
Oh, yeah, that's a proper good one, that one.
I think I'd nickel the toilet roll and towels and stuff so they can't wipe their arse.
So they just can't get clean, bro. They gotta go primitive style, mate. They gotta stand outside, bollock naked, let the wind dry them, then wipe their arse with their hand.
You take all the clothes and stuff, but also like just like moving stuff from one like drawer to another, or like say like the cutlery, just like moving it up to different like drawers and stuff, just to like when they wake up, like what is going on, like or to like turn pictures upside down and stuff.
Yeah,
I'd do.
Get rid of the bottom step of the stairs, so when they think they're going down it, went straight into the front door.
Home Alone, mate.
Oh, so sick.
Yeah, I'd probably do something like that. Or as we're in the horror theme in Nightmare on Elm Street, she tries to go up the stairs and it's like glue stuff and she can't get up. Probably do something like that. Yeah. Like, what is this super glue stuff on my feet?
Oh, sweet. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's all our questions, guys. That's all we have for Alex. And as I say, check him out. I'll put all his links in the description anyway, so you can give him a follow, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. You stick to pretty much, it's basically retro content, isn't it? Like PlayStation 2 games, PS1 games, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's a very, very new thing. I'm not going to lie, I haven't got a plan to upload it as and when I go.
It's got a video on there, though, so you can go and watch that at least, isn't it?
There is a video on there. Yeah, it's weird and obscure games that and a few retro memories that came out for the PlayStation 1 and 2. So, yeah.
Yeah, beyond the memory card, that is. So, as I say, top link in the description will be Alex's YouTube. I'll add some other ones if he wants me to as well, but I don't know if he wants his personal Instagram on there. I'm not sure.
Yeah, probably not.
You get loads of Facebook followers like, what's this?
Just randoms, innit?
I didn't agree with your opinion, you fat twat.
You silly mong, like just being dead horrible and that.
You're like, where's all this hate coming from?
Yeah, literally. It's that knobhead from beyond the memory card.
No, beyond the mong card. We're giving him ammo now. We need to stop. We're giving him ammo.
Yeah, the right style.
But yeah, I hope you liked obviously this different style of podcast for ourselves. This will be Halloween. You're watching this spooky season, so we will have our ordinary podcast go up the day after this, which will be just your typical normal podcast. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. As I say, I've been Ian, aka Relic, Martin, aka Mario Call, and Alex from Beyond the Memory Card. Like, subscribe, join the Discord. Alex is in the Discord, so if you want to ask him any questions, feel free to join that and get on there. And yeah, we appreciate your time, and thanks for sticking around.
You're good.
Peace.
Take care, guys.
Peace.
Love you, bye.